Chapter 4, The Tidal Wave. Ooh, this is getting good. Imagination Station, Voyage with the Vikings. Beth opened her eyes. She saw bright green water. Tall mountains of ice with a purple glow loomed over and around her. The ice sparkled in the sun. Beth was dazzled by the beautiful colors. Patrick was not. I think my allergies, I'm sorry I have to keep clearing my throat. I'm going to try not to do that so much. And there I go again. Where are the Vikings? Patrick asked. And what's with all the ice? I think we're near the North Pole, said Beth. Those are icebergs. Boy, she's smart. Beth looked away from the scenery. She and Patrick were still in the imagination station. But she couldn't see wit's end anymore. The imagination station appeared to be in a ship, an empty wooden ship at sea. The ship was long and narrow. The shape reminded Beth of a giant canoe. Beth got out of the machine and took a deep breath. She looked over the side of the boat. The air smells salty, Beth said, but the water is calm. I'd say we're on an ocean inlet. What's that? Patrick asked. A long, narrow waterway, she said. Patrick also stepped out of the machine. Right after he did, the machine faded out of sight. It disappeared. Wow, Beth said. That's so cool, Patrick said. So we can look at the picture and see what's going on. Patrick turned his thoughts to the Viking ship. He imagined it full of Vikings. I bet this ship could hold a bunch of Vikings, he said, plus all their stuff. Patrick looked out across the water. There was only one place to get to shore. It was very far away. Oh, no, there are no oars, Patrick said. We can't row to shore. We'd better get there somehow, said Beth. I don't want to just sit here. Suddenly, a black shadow passed under the ship. They watched it approach a large piece of floating ice. Then a huge white animal shot out of the water. A polar bear! The white bear stood on the floating piece of ice. It spread its front legs wide. It bared its teeth at the cousins and roared. Roar! The sound echoed off the ice. The cousins shivered. Do polar bears eat kids? Patrick asked. I don't know, said Beth. Another black shadow passed under the ship. The cousins stepped back. They were afraid of another polar bear, but this time a seal popped its head up at them. It looked at them with jet black eyes. Then it went under the water again. The bear growled. It leaped into the water head first. The cold water splashed Beth and Patrick. From a distance came a loud crack. The sound startled them. They looked up. The top part of a large iceberg broke loose. Oh, that would be so cool to see. It was the size of a small house. It hit the water with a whomp. Splash. Now, what are those two words called? I told you earlier. Just tell me when you get back in on Wednesday. Whomp and splash. What type of words are those? The impact created a huge wave. Hold on, Beth shouted. The wave curled higher and higher. The crest of the wave lifted the Viking ship and carried it away. The ship moved fast. The prow crashed through the water. Patrick stood at the front of the ship, cheering. Oh, yeah, Patrick shouted. Keep the wave rolling! At first, Beth was afraid. Then she was caught by the thrill of the ride. The rush of the wind chapped her cheeks. The spray of the water tingled her skin. The wave settled. The ship drifted near a rock jetty. Get ready to jump, Patrick said. Patrick stood at the edge of the ship. Then he leaped across the jetty. Come on, Beth, he shouted. Beth looked at the jetty. From the ship, From the ship to the rocks was farther than she had ever jumped. Beth, hurry, Patrick said. The ship is drifting away now. Beth jumped. Her front foot reached the jetty. Her second foot did not. Her boots slipped off the wet rocks. She started to fall backward. Patrick grabbed hold of her arm, and pulled Beth to safety. Thanks, Beth said. She was glad to be on solid ground again. Race you to the top of that hill, Patrick said. The cousins ran across the jetty to a sloping open field. They dashed up the hill. The ground was rocky. The grass was thick and bushy. Tiny purple little flowers bloomed in small clumps. Suddenly, the cousins heard the clomp of hooves. They stopped running and listened. The noise grew louder. It sounded like thunder. A herd of reindeer crested the hill from the other side. About 30 huge brown animals charged onto the field. The 2 reindeer in front had black faces. Their antlers were brown with sharp points, and the reindeer were headed straight for the cousins. Oh no. Now, question. In this picture, he has a spear. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember reading about that. But I might have. I get all excited about other things that's going on. So I don't know. I don't quite remember. So when we get back on Wednesday, remind me where it was in there that said he picked up a spear. I don't know. It's a cool picture, though. I like it. All right, end of chapter 4.